Hey there, welcome to Off Duty. I'm Wendy Bounds. We are outside the Carnegie Deli in New York City. You may recognize it from the David Letterman show or pretty much any movie ever shot in New York City. We're talking about the latest sandwich craze to hit the city. I'm talking about the Jet Bow, named after New York Jets quarterback Tim Tebow. What does 3.5 pounds of meat on 5 slices of white bread look like? How do you hold it together? We're going to show you. The one thing it does not have is mayo. So if you can't live without that, well then this next segment is for you.
Today we're going to make homemade mayonnaise. Once you see how easy it is, you're going to want to do it, I think. And you can flavor it with all kinds of things. You can add garlic at the end, you can add fresh herbs, you can add wasabi. So here's what you do. A major tip with this is that all your ingredients have to be at room temperature. If they're not, you've got a really good chance of having your mayonnaise curdle. So you put in 1 egg, about 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is freshly squeezed lemon juice that I just squeezed. You're gonna put in about 1 teaspoon of salt. This is sea salt. You're gonna put in a few grindings of pepper. Okay, you put in a little bit of Tabasco or some cayenne pepper, just for heat, and a little bit of Dijon mustard, which helps it emulsify. Again, you can put in, some recipes call for 1/4 teaspoon, some recipes call for 1 teaspoon. It doesn't really matter, but you put in some mayonnaise, it helps it emulsify. Okay, so what you do is you now have those ingredients, they're all room temperature, really important, in the food processor. You turn it on, you get them all nice and mixed. And then in this container, I have 1 1/4 cups of oil, and this is half olive oil and half peanut oil. You have to add the oil just a tiny bit at a time, so at the beginning, so it doesn't curdle. It's really, really slow. Once you've added about half of it, you can add it a little quicker, but you really don't want it to curdle at this point. All right, I'm going a little faster at the end. I'm taking a big risk, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, all right, so now you've got all your oil in there. Turn it off. You want to taste it, because at this point, if it tastes like it needs more something, you can add it. No, it's perfect, but if it wasn't, you could add lemon juice, you could add salt, you could add pepper. You can put it in a jar and it will keep for quite a while, but to be safe, because it has raw egg in it, you probably don't want to keep it more than 2 or 3 days. Okay, end of mayonnaise.
Now that sure whet my appetite. Now we are here at the Carnegie Deli. In just a minute, we are going to get to eat and learn how to make the Jet Bow sandwich named after Tim Tebow. There are sandwiches named after so many celebrities here. Woody Allen, Jerry Springer, Carmelo Anthony. Before we get to my lunch, let's back it up a little bit and talk dessert. Elva Ramirez, she's found a great way to enjoy your Easter chocolate, and that's in a cocktail. Take a look.
You might be a little too grown up for chocolate Easter bunnies, but that doesn't mean you can't have a sophisticated Easter cocktail. We came down to the Daily, which specializes in new cocktails every day, to check out an updated version of an egg cream fizz.
The egg cream fizz, it's a classically based cocktail that we've worked in some of the flavors of my, anyway, favorite Easter candy. Egg cream fizz, your first thing you're going to need is about 1.5 ounces of Absolute vodka. All right, 1/2 ounce each of fresh lemon and lime juice. Fresh goes a long way in this instance. You want 1/2 ounce of liqueur 43, which is a vanilla Spanish liqueur. 3/4 ounce of simple syrup. 5 to 6 dashes of mole bitters, which is a chocolate and slightly spicy bitters. Use bitter ones here. 1 dash of orange bitters. We're going to do the white of 1 egg. What you want to try and do in sort of getting the yolk, or not getting the yolk out of the egg, is I usually work to only break about half of it and open up just slightly the shell, and that will give you a nice sort of, you don't need necessarily the whole egg white, just sort of enough to add a bit of viscosity, and when you pour it out, that nice frothy head on the top. We're going to do about 1.5 ounces of heavy cream. We're going to start with a dry shake. This is to aerate the egg white and your heavy cream. don't need to get too carried away with that step. Next is a little bit more intensive sort of shaking routine. Famously in New Orleans, when this drink was sort of at its peak, the saloon that served it had a line of 35, they called them shaker boys, shaking the drink at once, and basically they still couldn't keep up with demand. But you're supposed to shake for about 2 to 12 minutes, they say. We're not going to get anywhere close to 12 because I'm lazy. We'll try to get to 2, all right? All right, so when you're ready to strain this out, you're going to take your chilled highball glass, empty the ice out. You want to add your shaken cocktail, a little bit of club soda, okay? And that's going to add a nice froth and give it the nice foamy head that you want. Because it's Easter, we go a little festive, and there's your egg cream fizz.
Now, roast beef and chocolate, that works for me. Why not? We're here at the Carnegie Deli where they make the Jet Bow sandwich named after football phenomenon Tim Tebow, who just joined the Jets. What's hotter than Tim Tebow? Well, the only thing might be the Hunger Games movie. And if you've seen it, you don't want to miss my one-on-one interview with the actor who plays Rue in the movie. She talks about whether the film is too violent, and she shares some on-set secrets. Take a look. She plays the smallest and most beloved tribute in the blockbuster movie The Hunger Games, and one whose fate is the hardest for audiences to swallow. We're joined today by 13-year-old actor Amandla Stenberg. She plays Rue in the movie. Amandla, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
So the movie is breaking all sorts of box office records. We've been talking about that today. How has your life changed? You're 13 years old, and how has your life changed since this movie came out?
It's definitely changed. It's weird to go to Starbucks and then someone goes, "Oh my God, it's Rue," and runs up. It's definitely very different. But I mean, the Hunger Games has been such a fantastic opportunity, and I can't even believe I'm a part of it.
I thought you were perfect for the role of Rue, and in part I thought that because maybe I had seen you in Columbiana and I knew you could play this sort of very vulnerable character, this girl, but who was also very strong underneath. There were some people who've been tweeting on the internet that you did not look like the Rue that they had imagined Rue being blonde, and some people were very harsh and critical about that. I'm wondering how you felt about that. Did you talk that over with your mom, your parents, or how did you react to that?
Yeah, I did talk to them about it, and I mean, I'm just grateful for all the fans who've been so sweet. I mean, the ratio from fans who've tweeted me saying, like, "You were fantastic," is way bigger, is much bigger than the ratio of people talking about how I don't look like Rue. And so
Right.
I'm just really grateful for the people who have tweeted me being so sweet and so caring, just saying that I was perfect for the role. And that really, it means a lot to me. So I'm really grateful for that.
And do you tweet a lot yourself?
Yeah, I have a Twitter.
Yeah, you're on Twitter. And so in terms of the scene that was so hard for everyone to watch, and I can say this now because the movie's been out for a couple of weeks, I'm not really spoiling anything, but obviously your character Rue dies, and she's in the arena with these other tributes, these other children, and she gets killed in a very, what I think is probably the most emotional and maybe climactic point in the film, with you and Jennifer Lawrence, who stars as Katniss Everdeen. How did you remotely get yourself ready for a scene of your own death when you're only 13 years old?
I think I mean, I thought about what Rue was thinking and what she was feeling, and even though she's so terrified and she doesn't want it to end that way, I think at the same time she tries to be brave for Katniss because she wants Katniss to have hope and she wants Katniss to go on and win the games because she knows she can't anymore. And so I think I don't know, I just kind of got into the emotions of Rue and thought about what she's feeling. And just when I get on set, I mean, it's kind of like being on set with Jennifer.
Right.
It kind of it makes you feel like you're there, and it made me feel like I was Rue. And so and just, yeah, that's how I got into it.
Was it an emotional scene for the two of you to film? I mean, a lot of your scenes are filmed with just Jennifer Lawrence. Was that in particular an emotional scene for the two of you, and did you have to do multiple takes of it?
Yeah, I mean, you have to do multiple takes of everything.
Right, true.
So that was I mean, it's just, we tried it different ways, and it was definitely emotional. I mean, it was emotional on set because everyone was crying.
Yeah.
But with Jennifer, it wasn't that emotional just because Jennifer was always joking around. So, like, we would finish the death scene, and then she would say something like, "Remind me to tell you this really funny fart joke." And then they would watch it again, and you'd be like, "Oh, great. Now I have to pretend to be crying while I'm trying to stop laughing." So, yeah.
That's very funny. So she was funny to work with. Was she always cracking jokes on the set?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and it seems like that. You must be a true professional to be able to keep it going after something like that. Did you? And now a lot of adults have asked whether they think, or if they have questioned whether the movie's too violent for people who are, 12 and under. I mean, you're only 13. I've seen a lot of kids write back on Twitter and on YouTube and so forth saying that they don't think it's too violent, that they're ready to handle it, and that this film's message is greater than the violence. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we were all thinking when we made the movie, just that the movie's not really about the violence. It's not about showing a bunch of blood and guts, It's really about the story, about the message, about Katniss and how she, sacrifices herself and for her relationships and how she really becomes a heroine. And I think that's definitely more important than watching a bunch of blood, because I'm not one for gory stuff myself. So,
Appreciate your being with us so much, Amandla. Great, good, best of luck with your charities and with your career and with school. That's important too.
Yeah.
All right. See you later. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And now the moment we've all been waiting for, or at least I've been waiting for. We're going to learn to make the Jet Bow sandwich. Who else is going to teach us? But Sandy Levine, he's the boss here at Carnegie Deli.
No, I am not the boss.
What are you then?
I'm an MBD.
You guys figured that one out.
An MBD is. I went straight to the top. I married the boss's daughter.
Gotta love this guy. Do you know how to make the Jet Bow?
Absolutely. We're going to show you. The beef that we're going to use is roast beef.
And how much roast beef are you putting on there?
That's about 3/4 of a pound,
Okay.
1/4 pound. It
All
doesn't
right.
matter. You notice we don't have a scale here to weigh everything. Now, corned beef is synonymous with a deli. You cannot make a deli sandwich without corned beef or pastrami. Now notice when we put another slice of white bread, that's a base so it
doesn't
keeps
slide.
Atta girl.
Next step.
Now the next step, we come over and we use pastrami.
Oh, look at that.
You have your corned beef here. Now we put at least a pound and 1/4 of pastrami.
Has Tebow tasted this?
We haven't had him in, but if you look at our wall, Tim Tebow has been in the
Yep,
store,
right
and there's
there.
his picture.
The big question I have to ask you is, does Mark Sanchez of the Jets have his own sandwich?
Ooh, you have to hit me with that.
I have to hit you with that.
Ooh, you hurt me.
This is the killer question. This is the gotcha question.
Now you're gonna make me make a Sanchez sandwich.
Sandy is taller than the Empire State Building. Like who? I mean, this could feed the entire Jets team.
If you can put your mouth around it, we made a mistake.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen. You put in another piece of white bread again to stabilize it, and then we use American cheese, not Swiss cheese. American cheese, the All-American. Now, to finish off an All-American sandwich, it has to have lettuce and tomato. And there's the lettuce and tomato. Goes right on top.
It's like a hat. How do you hold it all together? You skewer it.
Yeah, that's right. We have special skewers here. Now the hard part is he has to cut it. Cut it and plate it.
Nicely done. Wow. Look at that. Oh my God. All for me.
All for you.
All right, let me just recap. This is the Jet Bow. We have 5 slices of all-American white bread. We have 3.5 pounds of roast beef, pastrami, corned beef. We have no mayonnaise. We have lettuce. We have tomato. We have 4 skewers holding it all together. There's only one more thing I need with this. Can I get you to Tebow for me? Nice. So much for Lynn's sanity. It is all about Tim's sanity. I tell you something, if Tim Tebow plays as well as this Jet Bow sandwich is selling in there, he is in good shape. Now, do not forget, we are here with you Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. That is the off-duty show. And tomorrow, we will be at the New York Auto Show, where we will be showing you the new Caddies and the BMWs. Until then, join us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Wendy Bounds, and I got to go find somebody to help me eat this. Who's hungry?